Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
What is happening, thickies, thickers, thicketeers, three thickerettes? What's up, thick boy fam? It is Monday morning, June 13th. Lovely, cloudy, okay, a little hazy Monday morning here in Calabasas, California. How you guys doing, man? Oh, you're good? Oh, your cat, he survived? Very cool. That's cool, man. How's your kiddo doing? My kiddos started, both of them started summer camp today. My 2-year-old Boston, I have horrible anxiety right now because he's barely 2 and he's going to summer camp from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and he's 2. His mom thinks it's good for him. I disagree. He was pretty excited to go make friends because his best friend is his brother who's 6 and he's 2. So we'll see how that goes. Parents know what I'm talking about. It's a beast. I have anxiety. But wifey's staying close by just in case he freaks out once he realizes we're not there anymore. So we'll see how it goes. Hope he doesn't hit anybody. Other than that, man, fresh off the plane from Portland. Shout out to Portland. Hands down, best 5 shows I've had prior to the pandemic. I would say in the 7 years doing stand-up comedy, it is top 5 of all time. It was on freaking real. Portland's interesting, man. Portland is a shit show. Portland is a shit show. Certain cities, as a comic, it's tough, man. Like I had to reschedule my San Francisco dates this coming weekend because they recalled the district attorney and people aren't going out to clubs and restaurants. And we knew there was a problem because my brother, who's my tour manager, goes, man, I'm looking at hotels, like nice hotels. Like I think the Ace Hotel that we stayed in last time, which is, you know, the heart of San Francisco. San Francisco is not cheap by any means. Dude, you're talking some of these hotels, $60, $80. No one's coming to the city. So they wanted to push the dates till things are a little safer. So I'll have some updates as far as when we're rescheduling San Francisco, but that's out of my control, man. These cities that wanted to defund the police and, you know, slap criminals on the wrist and then put them back on the streets. It's there's some consequences there, and one of them is me rescheduling dates. That's what it is. Like in Portland, we stayed downtown, and you'll see I'll post the Portland bit. I had a whole bit that I wrote in the green room in Portland about how shitty the city is. Now, as outside, so most, like I do the meet and greets, right? I meet all the people at the meet and greets. Nobody's staying downtown. They're all, yeah, we don't come down here. The only time we come down here is do a comedy show or maybe a restaurant, but really, unless we have to be down there, nobody's staying in downtown Portland. It is Gotham City down there. So, you know, everyone's staying on the outskirts. Everybody's on the outskirts in Portland. But as far as, you know, just, you know, as a city, it's, I love Portland, man. I mean, I know they have their issues downtown, but it's such a freaking fun time, man. It's just I don't know what it is. I just love Portland. Not downtown, a little dicey. Like we had an off-duty police officer come to the show, and he's like, "You boys going out tonight?" I'm like, "We never go out, man. I'm a homebody. I'll go back to the hotel. I'll get a good meal and then shut it down." And he's like, "Oh, good. I was going to tell you, man. You be careful out here." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we've had 22 shootings around Voodoo Donuts, where I know you're staying around there." He's like, "We've had 22 shootings past 2 days. That's more than we've had in an entire month." I was like, "Holy shit." He's like, "But you're good if you're like kind of with your crew, but I'll just stay in." I'm like, "Oh, say less, but say less. Your boy's staying in." So we stayed in, man, but shout out to Portland. Some of the best shows I've ever had. Met so many great people. Some of the sneakers out in Portland, y'all some sneaker heads. That's one thing when I do those meet and greets, or even just the front row of the crowd, I look down the sneakers. Some of these boys come with heat, man. It's rare I get beat by a fan, and boy, I got beat this weekend. Even though I had my custom kicks on, shout out to the Styling Irish. You'll see I rock these orange, white, and black. They look like Travis Scott's low dunks. Those are custom made from the Style and Irish. This kid in Ireland who's getting into the custom sneaker game. And he said, let me see some kicks. I said, all right, let's do it, man. Now, usually when people send me custom kicks, they get a little dicey. They fit weird. The logos might fall off. They just they don't vibe well. If it rains, the paint falls off. It's a disaster. It's like wearing a fake Rolex. You got to worry about the rain. So I wore them to Portland. They held up in the rain because it rained every day there because it's Portland. And, I'm obsessed with those shoes. So I did get beat, though. Someone showed up in some freaking Yeezy Nikes. People showed up in Travis Scott. So shout out to Portland, man. That is such a great time. So now that we're rescheduling San Francisco due to the crime wave, I'm in LA for a little bit. So I'll be doing spots all over LA. I'm here till June 14th. So I'll be doing spots all over LA. We have, I think, Companions coming up. And then on the 22nd, which is next Wednesday, at Schaub and Friends, all the monsters will be there. The monsters will be there. Last Schaub and Friends, I had the boys from Are You Garbage and Dalia. This next one, we're going to have some monsters. So next kind of Schaub show, just not me doing sets, but me and my boys, is at the Hollywood Improv on the 22nd. And then the Trash Panda Tour continues July 14th to the 16th, Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's going to be interesting to come up with bits for Fort Wayne for the jokes there. And then off to San Diego is July 21st to the 23rd. Then we end the Trash Panda Summer Tour August 4th through the 6th in Baltimore. So, yeah, here we go, man. Oh, and they just added Appleton. Never even heard of it. Appleton, Wisconsin, September 8th through the 10th. Appleton. Heard it's a nice little town. So we'll see how that goes. Just looking forward to it, man. These are the new Trash Panda Tour shirts you can only get in person. So if you want to rock the gear, you'll be able to get this one in person. This one's not online. But let's get to the fights, man, because we had some historic fights over the weekend. I had to watch it last night, and I again watch it this morning, the main three fights. It was in... this fight was in not Singapore. Was it Singapore?
Yeah, Singapore.
Yeah, it was in Singapore.
Indoor.
So it was in Singapore Indoor Stadium, which is huge. Usually, one FC is always there. So it's a big ass arena. Man, I'll tell you what. You look at how the UFC is just so international now, man. It's so international. Like, it is a worldwide sport. I would say the growth of the business and the future of the UFC is all international. I'll get into that. I think we're doing a Schaub short this week where I dive into one topic, and we're going to dive into Kamaru and Leon Edwards, and I'll get into all that. But I do think that the future of the UFC, when you look at the roster and you look at the prospects and even you look at the champions, not a lot of Americans, man. There's not a lot of Americans on there. So I think if I'm the UFC and they're having I always talk about their marketing meeting, their business meeting on Monday mornings, the kind of future of the business is international. So, we'll jump right into it. The three main fighters who won this weekend, to the point, are all non-American fighters. So now you have a different light heavyweight champion, Jiri. Now, if you bet on, if you watched last week's Schaub show picks for this UFC, we need some grease on Chin Seat. But if you did the parlay, I had Jiri, Shevchenko, and Wele, which I love when I get those right, and they're all favorites, so I'm not saying anything new. But, it boosts your odds, and it's with DraftKings, that's all fine and dandy, but they're all favorites. But a part of me, it's like, I told you, did I pick him right? Yes. Did it go how I think it would go? Absolutely not. I don't know anybody. I don't know. I think it is a plus 2,000 if you pick Jiri to submit Glover Teixeira in the 5th round with 28 seconds left. That is insane, man. And then, if you look at that fight, and I've watched it twice now, if Glover just didn't make some mistakes, you're talking about he defended his title, he's the champ, but he got choked down 28 seconds. When you watch the fight, and if you've been a Glover fan, which I have for a long time, and I've been a Jiri fan even when he was in Ryzen, right, when he fought Maladendo and all that. So Jiri's a beast. And I've been a Jiri fan. I've been on Jiri's nuts for quite some time now. But I think there's an argument to say I think the general public say, oh, that was a great fight. But I would assume if you ask Jiri and if you ask Glover, and Jiri has kind of alluded to this in his post-fight press conference going, that was an off night, man. I do not, I'm sure you guys enjoyed that, but that's not how I want to fight. You know, he had the massive cuts, head trauma for both gentlemen. He's out for a hot second. I bet he fights end of 2022 now. And we'll get to who I think he's going to fight. But I think what happened here is one of the reasons you got such a good fight, but it sucks for Jiri and for Glover. I think both of them had an off night. I think Jiri was out of it. I think Glover was out of it. And then just put that together, you get an amazing fight. But there are so many mistakes that is very uncommon for these two gentlemen, especially a guy like Glover who has so much experience. Like when he has Jiri rocked and he goes for that guillotine and Jiri slips out, or how Glover's getting swept, and Jiri going for the head-arm triangle against a black belt in Glover Teixeira. Like there are so many mistakes by each guy. And for Jiri, obviously, was he 27? He's a younger guy. There might be some mistakes there, but for Glover to make those mistakes,
29.
Jiri's 29, but he has over, good amount of fights. So it's for him to make these. So he has 32 fights. He's 29 wins, so 29-3 is a fucking monster, but it's just, he only has 3 fights in the UFC and he's the world champion. So that's great. And I picked him to win. I didn't think he'd win like this. I do think one of the reasons he won was Glover had an off night. You've never seen Glover with his experience making these mistakes. He had him rocked on the feet a lot of times. So I think it was a product of both guys having an off night. Maybe it's because it's in Singapore, or maybe it's because it's a title shot. And I expect that out of Jiri. Even though he has 32 fights, I know he's rising champ. UFC is a complete different animal. So I think fighting Glover Teixeira in the main event, Glover being a veteran, I expect Jiri to have some mistakes, but you're talking monumental mistakes, man. Monumental. Now it's great because both guys were rocked, both close to getting finished. But and this is even more to the point where Jiri, even the scorecards, but even the MMA experts, quote unquote, nobody had Jiri winning this fight. He was down on the scorecards, man. This thing goes 20 more seconds. He's back to the drawing board. He's not champion. So, I think it's not that it's a great fight, but these guys fight 100 times. You're not getting that fight. I think if they fought again, I do think Jiri wins, and you're going to see a completely different fighter. Now, if you are a Jiri fan, which I am, you got to be a little nervous that, he has this very free style. He prides himself on being a warrior, Bushido warrior, this Japanese warrior, and he has a very loosey-goosey style. He doesn't, subscribe to one certain style. So his hands are down, his footwork is unconventional, his movement's unconventional. But unless he's very disciplined, that style can get you in a lot of trouble, especially in the UFC. I think you can get away with in ththese other organizations when you get to the UFC and you're fighting these monsters, and we'll get to who he's going to fight next, but you're fighting these upper echelon guys. You got to be a little more careful. He does get hit and stuff like that. But again, I think with Jiri, he had an off night. Glover had an off night. Both made a lot of mistakes. It was a fantastic fight for the fans. But in general, you don't want to see a guy, if you're investing stock into Jiri, fight like that again. And to that point, I think the light heavyweight division, that belt, I think gets circulated just nonstop. I think that thing gets passed around like a doobie at a Snoop Dogg concert. Just here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. I think you're going to get multiple world champions in the next 2 years. And when I look at the division, unless there's some freak that comes along soon that we haven't heard of, you're not getting another John Jones in this lifetime. A guy who's just absolutely dominant. And I think it's kind of a good thing. It's tough for the casuals because they like to, 6-time defending world champion. Casuals like to build that up. So the UFC is going to have to get, their marketing team's going to be doing work. Let's see what you're made of, because now you have all these different guys and they're not American. The only American that's going to get close to sniffing that title shot's Anthony Smith. Outside that, it's going to get dicey for the UFC and their marketing team, because you have Glover, Brazilian, you have Jan, right, Polish, you have Jiri, you have freaking Rakic, you have Med, right, and then you have Anthony Smith, Taila Santos. So it gets a little dicey. as far as the marketing team goes, marketing to the American crowd, which goes back to my point that the future of the UFC is international only. I mean, it's going to be here in America, but in America, kids have so many options. In international, they have options, but not like in America. America really focuses on NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. That's what we do because the money's there. There's also a blueprint. Pop Warner, high school, be good in high school. You get a scholarship to college. You play well in college. You enter the draft. You go to the pros. Fighting, there's not really a blueprint. There's just not a blueprint. So I don't know any parents pushing their kids into the UFC. I think it's always going to be a problem. Then you look at the culture that we're in now. It's going to get dicey for them. Not a terrible thing, but I just think the future of the UFC is international. You look at the talent, and it's there. So back to the light heavyweight division and what's next for Jiri. I think his first title defense will be against Jan, and I do think Glover stylistically is the toughest matchup for Jiri. So passing that test was a big deal for him, but remember, he was down on those cards. If that goes to decision, he lost that fight, but he was able to pull it off. So, for Jiri, I don't think I think that was the worst version of Jiri we've seen, and he's still a world champion. So there's pluses, but I do think the next guy, whether it's Jan, whether it's the winner of Magomed versus Anthony Smith, which I do think is for the next title shot. So if it's Jan or the winner of Smith versus Magomed, you're going to get a better version of Jiri. And for Jiri, Glover was the toughest matchup, a vet. He's a boxer, grappler. He doesn't he's not very loosey-goosey like these other guys. These other guys don't commit to a style. So they're free like Jiri. So I think for Jiri, he could defend the title, and he is a guy who has, this unconventional style. So it's going to be tough for those other guys to game plan for him. But, if you're talking Racket, who's out for a while with that fucking ACL, but Racket, Jiri, it's very unconventional. That's going to be a typhoon of styles. So I do think he passed his toughest test. Passed it because he got that finish very late, but prior to that, he was losing that fight the entire time. Now, if they want to do a rematch of Glover, Jiri, I'm all for it. I do think Jiri beats him. If they fight again, he's going to learn from his mistakes and not fight like that. But remember Hamzat. Now, Jiri has a lot more experience than Hamzat. Remember Hamzat jumped from 11 to the number 1 contender in the welterweight division. Fought with his heart, got it done. But these guys without the high level experience, they're fighting off heart and they're passing this test, which is great. But for Jiri and Hamzat, because they had these huge tests, these absolutely huge tests, and they passed them. But if they continue to fight like that, they won't be in the UFC that long. But I think Jiri and Hamzat both are going to learn, and their next opponents, if they're expecting that version of Jiri Hamzat, you're in for a rude awakening. Because even Jiri in his post-fight press conference said, I'm sure you guys enjoyed that. I did not enjoy that. I got to tighten up. I'm a warrior. I don't want to feel like this. Because also, took a lot of damage, man. You can't fight like that. You just can't fight like that. And Jiri's going to learn, and Patty Pillman to that point is going to learn. You can't at the upper echelon of the UFC. You can't get hit like that very long. You have a very finite career, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So for Jiri, who prides himself on being this Bushido warrior and stuff like that, the goal is not to get hit. There's nothing Bushido about this. Now you have a warrior's heart and you pass the test against a phenomenal champion, but you can't keep fighting like that. And he knows that. And I could almost tell in his post-fight press conference, he was almost embarrassed he fought like that. He had that huge gash over his eye. Now what's interesting, and which makes me love Jiri even more, even when Glover's on top of him, throwing that ground and pound, he's talking to him. He's speaking to him. Going, that's all you got? I'm fine. He's smiling. Now he's smiling, then boom, that big elbow that gave him that huge gash. So again, those antics, it's at a certain level work, but here you paid the price, that huge fucking gash, man. Now also that gash with the blood coming out could also have been the reason, blood is very oily and slick. So when Glover got that world-class guillotine, he's a black belt, that might have helped you get out of it. So to each its own, but I think what's next for him is you're probably going to get the winner of Anthony Smith and Magomed. But let's say Magomed wins, you got Jiri Magomed, but I could see them getting it and it's also going to be how long Yuri's out. But I really think I give it to Jan, who's coming off that big win against Rakic. Even though Rakic's knee blew out, you got to give it to Jan. But also just from a marketing point, if Jiri can beat Glover, who's a champ, then he can beat freaking Jan Blachowicz, who was a champ who fans are familiar with. It solidifies Jiri. So I think what's next for Jiri is Jan, and I do think Jan is a much easier fight than Glover. And I also think you're going to get a really, really focused, more controlled version of Jiri against Jan. I think he gets it done. I think he knocks him out. So if you're Jiri and you're a fan of Jiri, and even Jiri, I'm sure today would say the same thing. I'd love to have him on the show. I think he's like, all right, that was insane. Let's not do that again. Because you're going to be in the UFC maybe 2 more years, keep fighting like that, And then eventually that chin's going to go. You take that much punishment from a guy like Glover. You look at the other guys, Jan hits like a fucking Mack truck, a Polish Mack truck. If Mack trucks were made in Poland, he hits like that. Rakic, no punk. Magomed, he's not the most dangerous striker, but still monster. Anthony Smith hits like a fucking tank. Taila Santos, Dominic Reyes, who he already beat. So there's some monsters there, man. There really are. There's some monsters there. So we'll see what happens. I would love if Alexander Gustafsson got back on the winning track, because that's something we can market. Every fan's familiar with Alexander Gustafsson. He does have a fight with Krylov coming up. If he were to win that one, you can toss his name into the hat. And as he works his way up, he's probably at his level. If he beats Krylov and they give him, a Santos or a Dominic Reyes, and he gets one more win, boom, title shot. And that name recognition for a guy like Jiri to beat him, who had those wars with John and DC, like that would go a long way. So I could definitely see him doing that, But yeah, I do think Jan's next. I really do. I think Jan's next. It makes most sense. But just how is Jiri going to heal? And then, you got a lot of contenders. But, you look at the depth of the light heavyweight division, which was a freaking nightmare just a few years ago. It was kind of in this weird land once John Jones left and DC retired and Gustafsson went to heavyweight. It was in a weird space, man. It was in a really weird space. So you look at the talent pool at light heavyweight, a lot of foreigners. And that's to the point the UFC is going to have to double down on their international marketing, because it's there. And you look at that Singapore crowd, like that place was nutsos, dude. Yeah. Nutsos. So England's obviously popping, and, they have a chance to have another champion since Michael Bisping and Leon Edwards, which got announced against Kamaru Usman, which I think is Kamaru's toughest test. So we'll get into that on the Schaub breakdown this week. But, that main event was exciting for the fans, but I do think it was the worst version of Jiri and Glover. But shout out to Jiri for passing the test. For Glover, they're not going to do a rematch. The Jan fight's not happening. So, I don't know what they do with him. If you don't give Anthony Smith and Magomed the title shot, they fight Glover. You just stay busy, So I think Glover has one fight left. If you were to win that and they offer him a title shot, he'd stick around. But one fight, he loses that, he's going to retire. So you're going to get another kind of legend is going to retire fairly soon here. In the co-main event, Shevchenko versus Santos. Now, I told you guys, Shevchenko, when I do the shop picks, I got to assume you guys are going to bet on those. I want you to win. So I'm not going to play with your money. Now, me personally, I put $1,000 on Santos because she was a plus 700. You look at her style, and Shevchenko is getting a tad older, maybe a step slower a little bit. Santos' grappling style, she definitely had the advantage there, and it showed, man. It showed. So, these judges, the one that gave 49.46 is absolutely smoking crack cocaine. Let's be honest here. But, looking at the fight, I hate to say somebody got robbed, but, it's hard not to give Santos those first 3 rounds. Just going into after the first 3, once the third round ended in my head, I'm like, oh, Shevchenko needs to finish. to pull this off. Shevchenko definitely needs a finish. Santos is a much better grappler. Obviously on the feet, there's a world of difference, but I would say as far as grappling goes, Santos, has the same advantage that Shevchenko has on the feet, on the ground. Even though Shevchenko took her down, but when she took her down, the grappling and the rolling of Santos really showed. So I had Santos up 3 rounds. Now you can give Shevchenko the 4th and 5th, whatever you want. She still lost that fight. So I think for Shevchenko, I don't know if I'm Shevchenko, if I want to see Santos again. Santos is young. Santos isn't that old. So I think for Shevchenko, I don't know how serious she took it. I heard Bisping and John Anik say in the fighter meetings, Shevchenko, they were like, oh, what advantages do you see Santos have? And she goes, none. This girl has no advantage anywhere inside that octagon. I'm going to destroy her. Which if you're Shevchenko, the pound for pound, best we have to offer in any female fighting, you have to have that attitude. But a part of me goes, maybe she overlooked Santos. Santos, if you look at her record, there's a debate here where she beat Shevchenko, the pound for pound great, and then her last and only loss was a split decision 3 years ago, February 2nd, 2019. So 3 years ago in a split decision, I think she won that fight. So really, and then you look at Shevchenko, this girl she's one judge away from being undefeated, so she's young. If they were to do a rematch, it makes sense too. It makes sense because for Shevchenko, it's, if they were to do a rematch, again, like people go, I want to see a Jiri Glover rematch. I think Jiri tightens up and destroys Glover if they rematch. For Shevchenko, I think this is probably Santos' best shot to beat her. The judges kind of screwed her. If they fight again, I think Shevchenko's have a much better perspective and respect her a lot more and probably fight a little different and probably beats her if they rematch. But if I'm Shevchenko, I'm not rematching her right away, no matter what the judges scored it. But I would, look at fighting, going up a division, fight the winner of Amanda Nunes. That's what I'd do if I have Shevchenko. And then have Santos get one win on her belt and then come back down, So I did think Shevchenko lost that fight. I really do. But I was glad that, I'm not even glad, even my picks, I'm not married to him. So fair is fair. I thought Santos won that fight and it sucks. What's interesting about her and shows you what kind of person she is, she didn't complain about it, did she? She didn't even mention the refs. She's like, I'm young, I'll be champ. And I agree with that 100%. Like the division, I don't know who's going to beat that girl because Shevchenko didn't beat her. So they fight again, she probably will, but nor here nor there. And then, I think the people's main event was Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. There was a lot of assumptions that they were just going to carry on and this is going to be the same great fight that they had, possibly the greatest women's fight of all time. It's tough to live up to that expectation, but that first round, man, it's kind of a continuation of that first fight. They went at it, but Zhang was kind of whooping her ass. Zhang was landing a lot. The narrative here was what version of Joanna are we going to get? That was the big question mark here. And is Joanna still at that top level that we come to know her for, right? Like she's a beast. She's been out a little bit. She wants to start a family. She goes in this fight. First round, she loses, gets pretty fucking mollywopped, and then spinning back fist, flatline KO. So Joanna retires. God, shout out to her, man. What a legend. Absolute legend. I think it's the right call. I don't think you stick around after this. Sometimes when you stick around too long, it gets pretty dicey for a UFC fighter. So I like when people get out. Like, all right, I'm out, man. I want to see if I could hang with the top. I can't. I got KO'd spinning back fist. I'm out. That's my time. Like a blackjack dealer. That's my time. So shout out to Joanna, man. One of the greatest to ever do it. Some phenomenal fights. Should be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the UFC. And for Zhang, now it's a title shot for Zhang. That's how that goes. Yeah, she looked like a beast. You beat the shit out of Joanna that first round. Then the second round spinning KO, walk-off home run, knockout. It was pretty tough to watch if you're a Joanna fan. But God bless her. She said she wants to go start a family. So go do your thing, girl. We wish you the best here. The rest of the card, Jake Matthews, phenomenal. Huge win. Jack Della Amazing win. Got past the test of a Dagestani wrestler. Did the damn thing. Brendan Allen looked phenomenal. I thought he won that fight. His name's Brendan, so I'm a little biased. But good card overall, man. Good card overall. Great card overall. Today on the show, we have Calvin Kattar, who's fighting this Saturday against Josh Emmet. He's fighting in Austin, Texas on a 5-round main event against Josh Emmet. It is a phenomenal fight. I can't wait for this one. So we have Calvin Kattar on the show today. So it should be fun. Calvin's one of my favorite people, man. Just a great fighter. Where are the the card for a fight night? This card is stacked.
It's actually pretty good.
I'm crunk for it, man. I'm crunk for it. I'm crunk for this card. Where are the odds on his fight here?
There it is.
Calvin's a favorite, minus 235. That seems fair. That seems fair. Coming off that Giga win, and Josh Emmett's coming off a win. Josh Emmett's a beast, man. Mm-hmm. That's a great fight. That's a war. That's a war, man. You got Buckley on there. You got Tim Means, Kevin Holland. That's a great fight. Then you got the old heads, Cerrone, Joe Lozon. Mm-hmm. Cerrone favored in that fight. Lozon hasn't found a hot second, so I assume that has something to do with it. But overall, just a fun card. Really fun card. I'm excited. Free fun cards. Take my money. Even though it's not pay-per-view, but when I say take my money, I mean, my subscription money. Eddie Weiland, Cody Stamann. Jesus Christ, Cody Stamann's a freaking minus 510. Jeez. So big favorites on the card, man. But yeah, I'm excited for this fight night. Really excited. All right, Thickies, let's take a little break. Got to pay some bills by doing some of these ads. And before we jump into the interview with Calvin Kattar, listen, fellas, I was just in Portland, did 1,000 meet and greets. Some of y'all losing your hair, man. Some of y'all, it just is what it is, but you can do something about it because 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. More than 50 million bros will suffer from male pattern baldness. My friends at Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, all right? Keeps offers a simple, affordable, and stress-free way to keep your freaking hair. You meet with a doctor virtually. You meet with a doctor, then medications are delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't have to even leave your home. We have 24/7 care and support. It's low cost. Treatments start at $10 a month. Keeps offers generic versions of the 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss, all right? $10 a month to keep your dope locks. What are we doing here, man? How do they stay in business? They have everything you need to keep your hair. It's delivered straight to your door. Discreet little package shows up proven results. All right. Remember, prevention is key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act right now. You don't want to look like Brian Callen. When it comes to your hair, save more, spend less. If you're ready to take action, prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Schaub to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/Schaub, SCHAB, to get your first month free. Keeps.com/Schaub. Some of y'all boys freaking out, man, because crypto markets socked you right in the tummy. You lost a lot of your money. You're like, what am I going to do? I feel you. And listen, I wish I could relate, but I can't because I got Masterworks in my corner. That's right, Masterworks. They help normal guys like you and me diversify my portfolio with their blue chip art from masters like Picasso, Monet, Basquiat. All right, diversifying with art isn't new. It's not new like crypto or some of this other stuff you're investing in, flying cars, aliens, whatever you're investing in. The ultra wealthy have done it for centuries. When you realize blue chip art prices outpaced the S&P 500 by 164% for the last 25 years, it makes sense, man. All right, I'm a fan of Masterworks, which is why I'm teaming up with them. Join over the 330,000 members, get priority access to Masterworks with my unique link. Go to masterworks.art/Schaub, SCHAB. That's masterworks.art/Schaub. See important disclosure at masterworks.io/disclaimer. That's masterworks.art/Schaub. Mr. Calvin Kattar, how you doing, brother?
Doing great. How you doing?
You look good, man. Jesus Christ, handsome bastard.
Yeah, it's that Austin heat. We got in here Thursday, so I'm frying out here in this 100 plus degree weather.
Yeah, man. Everyone thinks it's cool to move to Texas till the summer comes about.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. A lot of different critters around here, too.
Yeah, dude. Different type of mosquitoes out there. They got them thick mosquitoes, man. They'll suck the freaking blood out your face.
Yeah, they got the cockroaches, they got the tarantulas, the scorpions.
They got a pig problem. They shoot pigs out of helicopters out there.
They C4 them too, right? They blow them up out here.
Yeah, man, it's pretty lit. Tim Kennedy, I don't know if he's out there or not right now. He's on his book tour, but if he's there, you can link up with him and slaughter pigs with him out of a helicopter. I don't know if you're looking to do that this week.
Yeah, maybe next week when I can eat them.
Yeah, there you go, man. How's the weight cut going?
It's going, man. They're never fun, but you know, I like to pride myself in never missing weight, you know, and that'll be the time I miss it. But you know, always showing up and feeling great. Almost showtime, man. It's fight week Monday. Let's go.
Yeah, man, you're professional. I'm never worried about you missing weight. Any desire to move to Austin from the East Coast, my man?
I don't know about moving, man. For some reason, I'm a homebody back there. I love it in New England, but I love to, you know, we were talking about having a place out here, save on that 6% we were talking about. But
yes,
really,
sir.
we always talk about that 6%, but we're just trying to find reasons to move. I could save 6% in New Hampshire, just 15.
Right up the
we
street.
gotta move to Austin, man. 6%.
Yeah, it's the hype right now.
Yeah.
You know, looking at this fight, you know, we were looking at before you came on, your favorite, you know, in regards to DraftKings. I think a lot of that is due to it being a 5-round fight. Obviously, you're pretty familiar being in the main event, fighting 5 rounds. You know, Josh Emmett's not, so I would assume that favors you. Is that something you look at as far as, you know, this being a 5-round fight?
Well, first off, shout out to DraftKings. But
yeah, right.
5-round fight, man. It's cool. It's something I've been used to now for the last few fights. I've been, you know, fortunate enough to have these opportunities in front of me. And but you know, as far as the odds and all that shit, I don't get caught up in that. And yeah, you know, Emmet maybe hasn't fought as many 5-round fights as me, but you know, he's a tough opponent. He's got a strong skill set that he brings to the table, and you know. I never try to get to round 4 and 5, but if it happens, I'm always ready.
Yeah. I think this fight too, in particular, like once it was announced, everyone's like, ooh, that's a fight, man. Like it's such an important fight in the featherweight division too. You know, if you know, cause you fought Max Holloway, obviously didn't go your way. Then you fight Giga and you know, great fight for you, which is a huge win. And then now you're fighting Emmet, who's ranked behind you, but you look at the division, it makes sense. Cause I would assume, if you were to pass this test, which I think you do, if you pass this test, I would assume you fight maybe the winner of Ortega, Yair. You know, I don't know. The division's interesting right now, man. There's so many monsters, but you've also fought a lot of the guys.
Yeah, man. It's the featherweight division stacked right now. I choose to stay busy, man, time and time again. You know, while these other guys kind of sit around and try to find let the guys fight it out and get cute with the division, man. And I prefer to just try to stay busy. I think that's what the great fighters in this division do. You see Max fight Yair when he was probably arguably next for the title anyway.
Correct.
Like that about, you know, the guys that want to stay busy and compete and earn their shots. And, you know, Emmett's another one that, you know, he's coming off a recent injury. So I don't think it was his fault why he was inactive, but I feel like he's another one that's trying to go out and earn it. So that always makes for a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I agree, man. You know, looking at your past few fights, you know, that as a fan of you, you know, I love the fuck out of you. I love Max too, but so I hated that you guys fought. So watching that Max Holloway fight, because you learn the most in your losses. Every fighter knows this. Like, you know, you can learn a good amount in your wins, but you learn a lot. It says a lot about a fighter coming off a loss. You know, and that's a tough pill to swallow when you lose to a guy like Max Holloway, even though he's a legend, but you want that feather in your freaking cap, man. So, cause you win that one, you know, we're going Sizzler, you know, you're buying all of New England. So was there a learning experience kind of from the Max Holloway fight?
Like you said, man, I learn off, you know, wins and losses. You know, the losses stand out more, but I try to learn off wins when I can. It's a hard pill to swallow for sure. Every loss is, but you know, I feel like it's harder for everybody else and more the public. It's more of a talking point, I think, for a lot of people. But for me, man,
correct.
It is what it is. Like I'm past it. If it was a win, just like Giga, I don't give a fuck about that fight either. I'm on to end it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. It's always forward with me. Yep. And you know, there's definitely things we learned to pick up from that fight. and things I already knew about myself that people got to see, you know, and
like what?
Like the heart, the toughness, you know, things like that. I feel like some people tell me that was one of their favorite fights of mine. I'm like, fuck you. but maybe they didn't watch enough of my damn fights. But
yep.
You know, whatever, man. If that inspired people, cool. You know what I mean? I'm happy for that, whatever. But I'm out here just trying to change my life. Every opportunity that I get to step in there is a chance for me to do that, trying to chase that life on the other side of a win. I say it every time.
Yeah, I think anybody who watched the Max Holloway fight and they're like, oh, I didn't know Calvin was tough. I'd be like, what the fuck? What have you been doing, dude? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? You know, I think too that night, Matt, it was a special night for Max. You know, like you just on. Sometimes it happens. The guys, they just have those fights. It just happened that night. You know, I'd love to see you guys fight again. So obviously you're not looking past Giga, but it's like, you know, you lost to Max, which isn't a big deal. You know, you showed your toughness, and if it boosts your fan base, great. But, you know, you look at the division. So, you know, for you, how do you see, you know, kind of you getting a title shot? Obviously, this is the reason why you do this, to be champ.
Yeah. That's just winning, man. You keep winning, they can't deny you. That was my mindset getting into the UFC, and that's my mindset getting into that title fight. You know, it's just they can't deny you if you keep on winning. And right now we got a tough opponent with Josh Emmet. I know he's gunning for me. Everyone's probably overlooking him. You know, you say I'm the favorite, but I keep that underdog mentality, and I know it's a dangerous one to have. I'm sure Josh has it now, and I'm not looking to let him build any momentum off it.
Yeah, because you know you're obviously ranked higher, and I think you have the bigger name. You're the more well-known guy, and you're a favorite going this fight. When I was fighting, I used to hate when people told me the odds, so I apologize for that. I used to I remember when I was fighting Roy Nelson. I was walking around Palms Casino. You know, my first UFC fight in the main event against fucking Roy Nelson. I have 3 fights. He has 30. I'm walking around the casino, and everyone's like, "You're an underdog, man. I put money on you." And you're like, "Oh, cool, man. Thank you."
Yeah, that's gonna help me. I'm gonna take that.
Thanks, so the experts think I'm gonna lose. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm gonna want to win just that little bit more for you and your fucking $300.
Yeah. Yeah, and how's camp been? Camp went good for you?
Yeah, camp's good, man. I haven't really slowed down much at this point. You know, you try to make it more just that lifestyle nonstop. We've been traveling. I think traveling is really the harder part. You know, the little mix up in camps, little curveballs. But back home, I'm nice and routine, and things been good, man. Feeling great. The whole team's out here now, and these fight weeks, man, more than anything, I'm just grateful for my team. You kind of slow it down a little bit on fight week, and you see the team out here with you, grinding, putting in the work, and you know, I just appreciate them being here, getting behind me, and we all have the same goal in mind, and that's getting the W on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think too, your team, the New England Cartel, you know, you guys are probably the closest team that I know. Like, you guys are close, man, like a close-knit family, which I admire, man.
Small groups, man. You know, there's no fluff around here. We don't need it. We prefer to, you know, to go without it. And everybody here adds value. And yeah, there's no fluff to cut. You know, no fat. We don't get trim no fat around here. All tight knit team, and everyone carries their own weight.
And how do you see this Emmet fight going? He's obviously, you know, his background's wrestling. He was an NIA guy, but you know, he does have some power in his hands. You know, you look at some of his knockouts.
High school Methuen Rangers, Ranger pride, baby.
He's a beast.
He carries power late in the rounds, you know. So if it goes late, we're ready for that. For me, it's always the same, man. I always just envision myself getting my hand raised, and then I let if the finish happens, I let it present itself on fight night. But I'm just looking to get my hand raised, and like I said, chasing that life on the other side of the win, man. You know, you keep winning, they can't deny you.
Yeah, I think too with Emmet, you know, in recent interviews, he's been talking about how he's been focusing on boxing because obviously, you know, boxing is one of your specialties. So I think for him, a lot of boxing focus, which, you know, when guys focus on certain aspects of the game, you know, it's not like he's going to outbox you. You know, he has that, he has power for sure. But, you know, when guys focus too much on what the other guy does, you know, there's not enough hours in the day for Josh Emmet to be as good as a boxer as you are, you know? So for fighters out there, when they tell me that, I'm like, You can focus on that, man, but do what you do. Do what you do, man. You don't want to focus on that stuff too much.
Kind of what Conor said about Khabib. He focused too much on wrestling from defensive positions rather than being active and what got him to the show, what got him to the fight. I agree with that, man, but a little bit of balance of both. It's a fine line like you're talking about. I think it's important to understand what this guy's strengths are, what he's good at, but also not forget, make him fight your fight, not the other way around.
Yeah, you're a bad motherfucker. So it's like if you just focus on wrestling, it's like, what are we doing, man? Guys fall into that trap.
100%, man. No, I think there's no secret. We're all in for a hell of a fight, hell of a show. Austin's a great place to do it. My sister just had her baby a month ago, and she's
congrats, man.
Yeah. So I finally just saw the baby this week. I'm excited to be out here. Ideally, I'm planning on staying out till Wednesday after, floating the river, having some fun, and so Texas is like a second home for me now that my sister moved out here and married a cowboy. And I'm taking it all in, man. I'm really enjoying myself out here. But
yeah, I love it, man.
Saturday.
Yeah, no, you seem like you're in good spirits. So I'll get your picks on some of these other fights that got announced. In your division, you got Max Holloway and Volkanovski fighting that rubber match. How you see that going down?
I think the winner in that fight is the fans.
Agree, 100%.
It's a hell of a fight, man. I was in Abu Dhabi. I want to say, I forget, maybe I was fighting Ige for that when they were fighting the second time. It was very close. I don't know if I rewatched it, but that second fight was really close. If not, maybe I give Max the edge. But I know, the champ, Alex won the first one for sure. So third one's going to be fun. I got confidence in both guys, so I don't really know who's got that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I had Volkanovski on Food Truck Diaries, and I told him, just as far as a fan, which I'm a fan of his, for his legacy.
You broke up. Would you say you talked to him on Food Truck? Yeah,
I talked to him on Food Truck Diaries, and I was just saying, that fight wasn't announced yet. And I said, he was talking about going to 55 and how he can easily make 55. He only trains with bigger guys. And I said, I get all that, man. And you want to pursue excellence and the lightweight title. I get all that. I said, but for me as a fan, and I think, especially as an American, like for me to not even co-sign, it didn't mean my fucking approval, but I'm just saying you have to close that chapter with Max Holloway. You got to beat him, and make it clear in order to move on with his legacy. Like it has to be done because Max Holloway's such a fucking fan favorite. Everyone loves him here.
Yeah, I can definitely see that argument, man. But, he's also, I respect both guys. They want competitors. They want challenges and they want to be busy. That's what I like about it, man. They're busy. The great champ. You saw how a champ should act, taking on any comers. He just wants the best challenge. And Max is just, Max is Max. He's out here competing, earning his shot, not being bitter about what happened and how it went down, but just focusing on what he can control now, and that's earning another shot, and he did that. So it's going to make for a hell of a fight, man. I can't wait to tune in for that one. I'll actually be out there, I want to say. They got me out there. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I appreciate about especially the featherweight division, guys like yourself, like you look at this weekend, like you and Emmet have nothing but respect for each other. Like you and Josh, like there's not this entertainment WWE shit talking thing. You look at Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Yair Ortega really doesn't talk shit. Like the featherweights, you guys just let your skills do the talking, which I think for a while since Conor McGregor, and he did what he did, and that was natural to him. But people went, oh, that's how you get likes and people to tune in. So guys start doing this weird like promo bits and had already thinking what they were going to say on the mic with if it was DC or Rogan or Bisping inside the octagon. And to me, it got kind of cheesy. And now I feel like guys like yourself and Volkanovski and Holloway, like you guys like, no. These guys are good. I respect that guy. It's all good, man. It's going to be a great fight, which to me, I think is more of a respecting, which is what the future of the UFC should head down.
Yeah, what the sport's kind of started off as, found off is honor, respect, things like that. But yeah, like you said, man, as long as you're authentic, like then it comes off straight. But if you're trying to force it, it comes out cheesy, like you're talking about. And for me, man, it's like I might not ever say all the things they want to hear leading into a fight, those sound bites. But I'm always going to give you what you want to see on fight night, and that's the way I want to represent myself.
Yeah, your entire camp's like that. Rob Font's the same. Like I don't need a hot take from Rob, or I don't need a hot take from you. Like when you guys fight, we tune in, man, because it's a great fucking fight.
Yeah, you know what you're going to see, man. And I feel like Josh Emmet got that same style. So, I appreciate these guys and what they're capable of. You know, they allow me, my opponents, to reach my full potential on fight night. You know, if the thought of Josh Emmet knocking me out or things like that didn't, get me to push it in the gym every session, then, that's what I need, man. I like these. And in order to have main events, man, you know, you need a solid, whoever you want to call is the A or the B side. You need a solid opponent. You know, you don't get big moment opportunities fighting cans, you know, so you want big moment opportunities, then you got to fight top caliber opponents. And I know we got one in Josh Emmet, and I'm excited to have earned another big moment opportunity as a main event here in Austin, Texas. And couldn't be more excited to put it on show for you guys, man.
No, I agree, man. I can't freaking wait. This has been circled on the calendar in Thick Boy Studios for a hot second since it got announced. So, you know, I'm not a journalist, so I can be biased, but you know who we're rooting for here, my man. I hope you light this fucking dude up.
Let's go. I appreciate that, man. You already know I can't wait to be a Thick Boy all summer post W, man.
Yeah, it's a Thick Boy summer, dog. Did you? We can end on this. You know, so if you're gonna get this win, and then what's the summer looking like, my man? What are we doing? We going to New England? You head up to Jersey Shore? What are we doing here?
So we got Fight Week, UFC Fight Week for there, and then actually before that though, it is Rob Font's birthday. So happy birthday to Rob Font on the 24th this month.
Love it.
My bad, 25th. Delete that.
Edit that, yeah.
Then we got July 4th, man. I haven't been able to really enjoy that, like the summers too much. So I'm excited to just get some good grilling in back in New England. And I'm sure I'll be bounced around a little bit, but I hear that they might be coming to, UFC might be coming to Boston, maybe in September or August or so. So as much as I like to plan all this shit, man, I'll be right back in the fucking gym ready to go. You know me.
Yeah, you have to, man. So I'll be in Boston, I think, the last week of September. I think September 29th through October 1st, I'm on tour in Boston at Laugh Boston. So you and the boys got to come out, man.
Already know. I'm there 100%.
Love it, brother. Well, I can't wait for this weekend, man. I just, you're going to crush it, brother. I get such good vibes from you, man. Soak up some of that Austin sun and keep doing your thing, brother. Rooting for you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you again for having me on.
Thanks for the time, brother. Have fun Saturday.
Yes, sir.
What else you got, Jen?
First one is just Yuri's homecoming. This is from Mark Raimondi. Check this out. This is in the Czech Republic.
It's a damn huge crowd. Holy shit. Well, he's the first champ ever in the Czech Republic. Wow. Good for him, man.
Super cool, yeah.
What a superstar. I love seeing this. It's like my boy Chito Vera. He went back home to Ecuador, and he sent me videos of him, and I was just like, holy shit, man.
This is Ariel's thing.
He was saying he can't go anywhere.
Just picking up his nephew, and he's got just bombarded by all these fans.
It's beautiful to see, man. It gives kids hope, you know? Look at him. Got a freaking, what's that, crab tattoo on the back of his head? Is that like new? He did not have that haircut when we saw him. That haircut is lit. Yeah, Cheeto doing the goddamn thing. And with Jiri, too, man, it's like, again, internationally, when you have a champ, you know, even though Cheeto's not a champ, he's had over 20 fights in the UFC now. But for just those countries, you know, Jiri in Czech Republic, it just inspires people. And then they get tuned in. If it's one of your own, man, it's a big deal. Yeah. So Czech Republic, now Yuri's motivating young kids there. Now they can do it, you know? So it's pretty cool to see.
Super cool to see. This one came by surprise. Michael Venom Page and Mike Perry are headlining a BKFC.
Yeah. Super.
Never would have imagined this, yeah.
Well, that's one of the great things about Scott Coker is he's open to some of this stuff. You know, like the reason you don't see UFC, Bellator, you know, kind of cross-pollinate fighters is because of Dana. He doesn't want to play ball. And I get it from Dana's standpoint, too. You don't want to build another organization. I'm with him on that. I would love to see Mousasi, Izzy. That's one of the number one fights I would make if I was Scrooge McDuck. But I get why they don't do it. But Michael Venom Page and Mike Perry, it's in London. I mean, tough fight for your boy Mike Perry.
Yeah.
As far as distance control and stand-up, it's going to be a tough fight for Mike Perry. Tough fight to land. Those hooks and those loopy hooks are going to be tough to land. He's going to have to make it dirty. You're going to have to make it a dog fight. You sit outside, you're going to get eaten alive. Very tough fight for Mike Perry. Very, very tough fight.
Yep. No takedowns or anything. Just straight up bare knuckle.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was a trip.
It's fun. That's a fun fight.
Of course.
Huge for BKFC because Michael Venom Page, by far the most talented, not out of his prime.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch. Yeah.
That same night, you're going to talk about it later, but that same night is also the Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards Part 2. And that's in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I love this. So obviously you guys know this, but for those of you that don't, this is a rematch. But last time they fought, man, it was a hot second ago. Both are different fighters. Kamaru's a pound for pound champ for a reason. I would say this is his toughest test. Colby is always a tough one that he can pass, but man, Leon Edwards just doesn't get his respect. And he's going for the kind of illustrious title of being the second champion to come out of England. Bisping was the first. Shout out to Michael Bisping, one of the greats, who I thought did a phenomenal job commentating, filling in for Rogan because Rogan to do the international card. So I thought he did a great job with DC and Anik. So for Leon Edwards, it's a big deal, man. Big deal and long time overdue.
Super
He's
long time
deserved
overdue.
it, man. Yeah. But again, just because he's not, the most flashy or talk shit or super marketable, but the dude can fight, and we're in the fight business. So this is the right thing to do. But I'll get into that fight on the Schaub short this week.
Cool.
And that's in Salt Lake City. Interesting place to do it. Salt Lake City. Do we know who else is on the card?
I can look it over now.
Yeah. Do we have any rumors or anything?
Rockhold and Costa.
Shnikes. Luke Rockhold, Paulo Costa was a great one.
Yeah.
Glover Teixeira had some interesting comments about Paulo Costa. He was saying how he was like, I think he's gone too far as his social media. He goes, he has to decide if he wants to be champ or if he wants to be the Kim Kardashian of MMA. Like he's doing all this wild stuff, and he goes, who am I to, talk about it? Because he has more followers than me, and maybe he's making money doing this stuff. But he goes, Glover goes, I'll erase my freaking social media after I'm out of the UFC. I don't give a shit. So, but he's like, for Costa, it's like, is doing that stuff, is it taken away from you being a champ? So he goes, honestly, look, he has more followers than me, right? Maybe that's worth more money down the line. So who am I to talk? If that's his goal, gain more followers and be the Kim Kardashian of Instagram, he's on the right path. Now, if his goal is to become champion, he has to leave the controversies aside and focus on training, diet, and what he wants. Agree 100%. He goes, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. If we're talking about money and followers, he's right. It's not my goal to have followers. My goal was always to be the best fighter in the world. When I retire from fighting, I'll delete all my social media.
And start over.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, Glover's an older dude, so, I don't think he's the most social media savvy guy. Guys can do it. You look at a guy like Izzy, who's really good at social media, Sugar Sean, but I'm with him because now the narrative on Costa, it used to be what a great fighter he was, and now like the kind of PR that he's been doing, it's a little bit like, he's crazy.
He's been really weird on Twitter.
Yeah, it's been
kind
very
of funny,
strange.
but it's still
and
weird.
it really started, after he lost to Izzy and got on there, it was like, I drank too much red wine the night before. Y'all. Wait, what? And then he has the hiccups with some of the other stuff, and just some of his posts are strange.
Very strange.
Just a strange gentleman.
That one where he has a focus in on his armpit.
Yeah.
It looked like a vagina. And then
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe just bored, and he's like, dude, this is easy to do, so I like to be weird. And you're like, all right, do you, man? But if he was winning, you know what I'm saying? Cool, do your thing. But when it starts taking away from that, and that's the narrative instead of your skills, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's Costa's problem. It's gone away from him being this great fighter to us being like, he's kind of weird,
Yeah.
Because you look at Sean Strickland, who goes nuts on social media too, and then there's like, people, I don't think so. People are like, he's a little weird or a little different. He'll say some, off-colored shit, which I enjoy. If that's how you feel, do it. That's like Bryce Mitchell, man. People want to write all these headlines when he was on here, like, you gave him a platform to do this shit. Yeah, dude, I'm not going to edit. If that's what he feels, and then remember, people are like, I can't believe you asked him about gun control. Oh, do you think Bryce is a buddy and we talk and he goes, hey, man, I'd like to talk about this? You think I just shot that out of the blue? Huh? No, Bryce he doesn't want to just talk about fighting, man. Talk about his farm for fucking 30 minutes, and I was into it. I'm going to go to a food truck down his farm. We're going to kill his chicken. I'm going to grill chicken for us. It's going to be a food truck. Now I'm going to be crying the whole time because I probably can't kill a chicken, to be honest. Probably save the chicken. That's where the difference between me and Bryce. I'm going to save that fucking chicken. And he's never going to talk to me again. But, Bryce too, I like guys that are real. So the difference between like a Sean Strickland, Bryce Mitchell, compared to Acosta, it's not like Costa saying anything political or something he believes. It's all kind of like TikTok shit. I'm surprised he's in TikTok doing the dances and shit. Wearing a thong or some weird shit to get likes. So because Bryce and Sean Strickland, it's their truth. Like whether there's camera, whether there's social media, that's how those guys talk. So it's very natural, and they know they might get some backlash for it, but they can't help it because that's who they are. I like those guys, whether I agree with them or not. Bryce's take on, school shootings being, the government being, I don't subscribe to that in any facet. I don't believe in that at all. But it doesn't make Bryce a bad person. But also what I like about Bryce when he's talking about the school shooter and I don't think it's misinformation, but he got information. I go, that's actually not true. It wasn't this. I can see how he thought that was this. He goes, well, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. It's not like he argued with me and doubled down on it. He's a good person, man. These guys are good guys,
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, Bryce is fucking great.
Yes.
Great if you're chicken.
All right. So Jorge Masvidal accused Conor of being on steroids. And this
recently?
This is like May 30th. But then more plates for dates. The Derek guy.
Mm-hmm.
He went through Conor's USADA testing stuff. And it says it's up to date, but apparently he was only tested one time in 2021 and 0 times in 2022. If this website is actually updated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so what's he say about it?
He's just saying he's not saying Conor's doing steroids, but
if he wanted to, he definitely could.
This amount of testing.
If that's true, man, that's weird. What worries me is, remember, the UFC hired USADA. So USADA works for the UFC. So I'm curious on how much influence the UFC has on who they're testing, when they're testing them. Because for them not to test Conor for an entire year after a leg break, even though he's on a yacht, I know it's tough, but it's like, that's very strange.
Very strange.
So, did he do the video? Shout out to Plays More Dates. Follow him; he's the best in the business. Yeah. So did he do this based off of Jorge's?
Yeah. And
let me see what Jorge said. What were you gonna say, Jen?
Some other people have been accusing him. No, not accusing him. Sorry. Remember Anthony Smith and Bisbee had a conversation.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
If he really wanted to do it,
we talked about last week. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So this is Masvidal.
He goes, I'm a little bigger, although now he's shooting up, putting steroids and all kinds of things, but he's still a little boy. I would love to fight at 170, but I don't wait for anyone. If he wants to do it, I will break his face. If he doesn't want to do it, let the next one come. Yeah. He's the best shape of his life. Everybody says that. Masvidal welcomes a potential fight against McGregor, accuses the Irishman of steroid use in a recent interview. Gamebread called McGregor fake, says he will always be a little boy to him despite his supposed attempts to get bigger through banned substance. He is fake, Masvidal told ESPN Deportes. He knows that I'm a man who hits hard and that I come to kill. I don't come to hug in the cage. I'm going to give everything inside me to kill him. Aggressive. I'm a little bigger, although now he's shooting up on steroids, all things. He's still a little boy. Yeah, I don't think that fight happens. I'd like to. That'd be a great fight in the build-up, but and that's if Conor wants to do it at 170. It sounds like Dana's favoring Chandler.
He did say that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says it here.
Dana White wants Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. It makes a lot of sense right now. Interesting. But I don't know. I really like Chandler Conor after Chandler's last fight. There's plenty of fights to make. I don't know if that's the one, but we'll see what the landscape looks like when Conor comes back. I'm just saying, after his last interview, his last fight, Conor's ranked 8. He's ranked 5. It makes a lot of sense right now. Ooh. And usually he's talking like that. I think he's getting better. He's starting to ramp up some training more, and I'm hoping at the end of this year, early next year. I'm down for that.
That'd be sick.
100% down for that. I think you do Chandler Conor. I think Chandler would be the favorite in that fight. And then you do Chandler Nate Diaz. Let him take out both those big boys. And then Chandler's off to the races. Scrooge McDuck, making it rain, going Sizzler.
Fun fights, man.
Yeah.
This is a quick one. Just De La Hoya. He's changing his tune on Dana White right now. He was on Ariel's show. He wants to bury the hatchet, and he wants them to work together to build some sort of, I don't know, boxing thing.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Could be because boxing's corrupt no matter what, and that's what Dana said. Dana was like, "No, it's because someone I guess asked during the press conference, that they
What's
do
going on with the boxing scene?
and he was like, "Oh, it's terrible. It's awful." And then with Dana and De La Hoya, Dana went all out on him. He's like, "How much cocaine is the guy doing?" Like,
I know. It got really bad.
It got really nasty. So, and to take it from a guy who had his issues with Dana, I've apologized, and I'm a fan. When I did they gave me best dad in podcasting for Father's Day, right? And they said, what's the number one guest you'd like to have on that you haven't had on? I said, Dana White. I'd love to have Dana on, but he's not a guy who forgives very easily. He's just not. So, and when it comes to De La Hoya, De La Hoya is going to benefit more from Dana than Dana De La Hoya. So I think De La Hoya needs it. But Dana criticized me and all that for a good reason. It's for a good reason. For a good reason, it's for a good reason. Quit saying good reason. There was some exchange going back and forth with me and Dana, which I apologized to him 100%. I think there's still a lot of business to be done between me and Dana in the future. If everyone wants to talk and sit down, never happening. Imagine merging our two powerhouses together and creating something together. But for De La Hoya, it's like you have Golden Boy Promotions, but you don't have Canelo anymore. What's this powerhouse you're referring to? Dana's the powerhouse here. It would be pretty unique. I would love to work with him. I'm actually building a house in Las Vegas. I'm going to move there full time to focus more on my business and other business I have. But yeah, it would be a lot of fun. Interesting to build something together. Boxing is a very fragmented sport. What the Fertitas brothers did and Dana did with the UFC is incredible. I'm extending an olive branch. I'd love to sit down and talk, smooth things out, let bygones be bygones, and then focus on business. Not happening. I don't see it happening. Unless Dana really wants to do boxing, I don't think he does.
Yeah. So check out this boxer here.
What is happening in boxing, dude?
I don't know.
Last week, guy was shadow boxing a ghost.
I know it sucked him.
Died.
But yeah, he died.
Awful.
Yeah.
And then this guy bites his ear.
He bites his neck.
Oh.
Show you real quick.
There was a unique moment in that 7th round. Does he attempt to bite him here on the shoulder?
With a mouthpiece, though, just feel like a baby donkey.
Yes, he did.
Or maybe he tried to kiss and maybe try sucking on his neck. Maybe he tried sucking it.
I don't. They said the boxing match was kind of going nowhere, so he just kind of got frustrated and tried to bite him on the neck.
It was because he was throwing elbows. He said, I was about to do a Mike Tyson and he kept throwing elbows. I don't want to get cut. I was ready to bite him like Mike Tyson. Yeah, people forget when Mike bit him, but Mike kept complaining about the headbutts from Holyfield. He was very frustrated. That's why he did it.
Oh.
And he says, I want to apologize for my actions. What I said yesterday about Mike Tyson bite. I was in the moment, got a little ahead of myself. It doesn't take away from the embarrassment that I've caused upon myself, my team, Top Rank, and many others. But I do like to bite. He didn't say that. I made the note.
So that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's not bite though, especially when you have a mouthpiece in.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I think with your teeth.
I'm assuming Mike spit his mouthpiece out to rip the air off.
He has to.
You can't do it with a mouthpiece.
No.
You ever worn a mouthpiece? Those things are thick.
Yeah.
Especially for the right ones.
All right, so Alan Belcher, former UFC fighter, he is now at the BKFC. He's been doing pretty good. So this particular knockout he just did over the weekend was crazy because how much saliva came out of this guy's mouth.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you right here first.
Boom. Yeah, that's like some water, man.
Like he held water in there. You can see it again. Let's see if this shows.
Who are the
it here.
announcers for BKFC?
I know that's Sean Wheelock, but I don't know the other ones. Hold up here.
Yeah, Belcher's just laying fools out. Boom! A lot of water. I agree.
Right here.
There's an unusual amount of water. Yagoo!
Yeah, but he got a clean knockout.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this right now. So unfortunately, these ESPN broadcasters didn't know that guy died. The guy that was punching the air. So they were kind of like talking about like, yeah, we saw this another guy do some crazy thing last time, blah, blah, and they just start laughing on air.
Then turns around, almost goes to his opponent's corner. To the neutral corner, then turns around, almost goes to his opponent's corner.
Look, Tess,
Sounded like he got buzzed or
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen worse. There's a video right now circulating right now where a guy actually knocked another guy out of the ring He got back in the ring, and the other guy actually started boxing a ghost in the corner. I'm serious. He was boxing somebody in the corner when the ref said, box. I'm telling you. Ooh.
It's not too bad.
Right there. Let's get back.
No, it's not. But there was laughing, which kind of sucks, you know.
Maybe
but they
you
didn't
don't
know.
How the fuck
They
do you
didn't
know?
Yeah, so but they did apologize.
Yeah, I mean, terrible. But how would you know?
Yeah.
Even on here, we're like, Jesus Christ, it was happening here.
Yeah.
The boxing's had a rough time. I want to take a time out right now and apologize for the last statement I made about a guy that was actually punched someone in the corner. Well, he's punching a ghost in the corner. He actually passed away 2 days ago. I had no clue that he passed away. I just want to give my utmost apology to his family and his loved ones. I was unaware of the video you were referencing. Tessitore added, I know you were just telling a story based on, but there was the news this week of Samiso who passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Tim Bradley, ex-boxer. And
guys
then
make mistakes. What are you going to do?
they didn't know. Yeah. So Jake Paul announced that the August fight's going to be at MSG. And just so far, just him and Amanda Serrano.
He's fighting Tommy Fury.
I'm pretty sure he's going to fight Tom Fury.
Yeah, no, that's who he's fighting. Yeah. Yeah, Eddie Hearn leaked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But MSG, huge ass venue.
It's huge, huge. God, what he's done for Amanda Serrano is nuts, man. Just blowing her up, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was before. This is also kind of crazy. This is combat jiu-jitsu. So combat jiu-jitsu, you can open hand palm strike. You just can't do, a fist. And this guy knocked the guy out.
I think Eddie.
Yeah, he does one.
Yeah. This Eddie stuff.
Take that left hand. Madrid spins into that. Oh,
He's out. Oh, my goodness. Damian Anderson.
Mike Belchon.
Puts Adrian Madrid to sleep.
God damn.
Palm strike.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's an interesting way of doing jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's cool.
It is. Would you ever...
Would I know?
Back then, would you ever done it?
Yeah, I've been up for it.
And Darren Till showed this. Someone is a big fan of him and Kamzat. So he tattooed both of his legs with their faces.
It's good artwork, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime anyone gets a tattoo, you can't help but feel honored.
Yeah.
Like that kid got the Gringo Papi tattoo on his ass. It's insane.
That's insane.
It's cool.
Yeah. Definitely cool.
That's good artwork to it, dude. When you do profiles like that, you better have a good artist. Otherwise, you're like, oh, I didn't know Darren Till has Down syndrome. It's like, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you do like kids or your wife or your
I've seen some
grandma.
really bad
You're like,
portrait
oh
ones,
my God, those portraits, like Jesus Christ. You don't want to look for the best deal on Groupon when you're getting a portrait done.
No. Let's go here. Did you know Black China boxed over the weekend too?
I did not.
She blocked some other Instagram, I think model.
She needs money, huh?
I guess so. But then they kind of go at it here.
Which one's Black China?
Short one, black.
The girl she's fighting is cheeked up, dude. The girl she's fighting is bad as shit. God, Black China cannot box. Oh. I've seen better fights on World Star.
It's very messy. Yeah,
and why did they fight? Was there a conflict?
I don't know the details behind this.
I don't care, kid.
I know.
I was just trying to do my journalist duty there. God, that girl she fought was hot.
I'll show you. I actually pulled her up. Her name
she's in
Alicia Megan, fitness model.
And she's
Air Force
America's
veteran.
#1 booty. Oh,
That's
wow.
her.
Wow. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Well, I guess it ended in a draw.
Yeah, but don't fight, huh, girls? Let's not do that.
But she's definitely cheeked up.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy
She's
cheeked up.
First team all body. Congrats. Yeah, she's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I'm not Kim Kardashian. I'm going to knock you both out. Who's both?
I don't know.
It was trash. I'm going to need for you to come a little bit harder. I see a little.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who won the fight?
This is a draw.
A draw?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. It's a draw.
Bummer. The whole thing. Why do these poor girls have to do this?
I don't know.
But for both of them, let's not do any of this, huh? I mean, I didn't know who that girl was, so thank God she did it. This is cool. You have a fight night, though, this Saturday night. 3 fights, fight night, ESPN, Austin, Texas, baby. Main event. Our brother from a New England mother, Calvin Kattar, is fighting Josh Emmet. It is a phenomenal fight. And then the co-main event, you got Don Cerrone versus Joe Lozon. You got Kevin Holland, Tim Means. Buckley's fighting Albert. You just got some great fights on here, man. So I'm excited for this card. It's a good one. It's a really, really good card. Darren Wynn, you know him. He's DC's boy, the shorter guy, even though he fights at middleweight. Yeah, that main card is tasty. It'll be tough to pick fight of the night. Really tough. I am interested to see Cerrone, Joe Lozon. Super interested to see those two vets go at it. Kevin Holland, Tim Means, phenomenal fight. Kevin Holland, big favorite there. Calvin Kattar, slightly favorite. I told him that. I regret telling him that. I used to hate when people did that to me. But yeah, can't wait for that main event. I think Calvin Kattar gets done via decision. Is that it, Chin?
That's it. 4 p.m. Pacific.
It's 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
All right. That's in Austin, Texas. That is on ESPN Fight Night. I get some time off, man. I'm in LA, living my best life for the summer. But we're still doing dates around LA. You'll see me. I'm doing spots all over the Improv and Factory and other stuff like that. But the next Schaub and Friends is next Wednesday, June 22nd. Schaub and Friends gonna have some monsters with me there. And then the Trash Panda Tour continues in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That is Fort Wayne, Indiana, one of the only places I've not been. My uncle was born there. I think it's a military town. My uncle was born there. My uncle Charlie. Shout out to Charlie. That's July 14th through the 16th. San Diego, California, downtown, heart of San Diego, Laugh Factory San Diego. Phenomenal club down there. Excited for this. I featured for Dalia down there. I've never been there, so I'm excited for that. That's July 21st through July 23rd. Then Baltimore is August 4th through the 6th. Appleton just got added. Appleton, Wisconsin, September 8th through the 10th. Houston, September 15th through 17th. And like I told Calvin Kattar, you can see the New England Cartel at the show. Boston, Laugh Boston. I'm there for a full weekend. Usually I just do the Wilbur, but I decided to do a freaking club. So I'm there September 29th through October 1st at Laugh Boston in Boston. But Fort Wayne, Indiana, and San Diego, you're up next. Tickets at thickboy.com. That's it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Summer is upon us, so have a great summer. Keep those summer bodies booming, daddy. Keep those ass cheeks out the back of the jean shorts. Get on some rollerblades. Do your thing, man. Do your thing, and it is a thick boy summer. I love you guys. Be safe. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. Love you guys. See you around.